Welcome back to my channel, Happy Hookers. Today we're going to be talking about my all-time favourite crochet supplies. Now I know a lot of people will do a May favourites, a June favourites, and I think I'll do some of those when it comes to yarn, but this is my ultimate favourites, things that I'm never going to change, I'm going to use forever. Now this yarn, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I have a long time standing love affair with Sidar #1 Chunky. It is just simply the most creamy, buttery, a beautifully soft chunky yarn is exactly what it is. Now in terms of chunky, I wouldn't say that it is a chunky. I tend to use a 5 crochet hook with it. You could say that it's very similar to an Aran weight. Equally you could use a larger hook like you would with a chunky and just get a little bit more of a softer draping fabric. I tend to use the 5 when I'm looking to make something that's a little bit more firm, like this coaster that I've made, and it's got a bit of a flop. Oh, there we go, a little bit, but it tends to stay quite nice and rigid with the 5. I've also made various things with it, such as also this scrunchie, and I'll pop some links to both of these projects if you're interested in them. The thing with this is it can be quite prone if it's handled a lot to splitting, so you don't want to be running it through your fingers, and if you did unfortunately have to pull your work down or frog it as it's known in the crochet community, and surprisingly enough I've called it frog it for so many years, but I didn't realise that it's actually because you are ripping it, get it? Cheeky little pun there, rip it. If you do have to frog it, I think you're probably going to have difficulty crocheting it again, and you're going to have to be very careful that your yarn doesn't split. The other thing that I would recommend doing is going inside and pulling out the yarn from the middle to start. This is known as the yarn bath, and you have to go in, pop your fingers in and pull the middle out, so that when you're using it, you're pulling the yarn from this middle. Oh, I've got a cheeky little bit there, I need to untwizzle, rather than it coming from around the edge, the ball rolling round, it getting wear and tear on it, and you can pop that neatly in your basket. So that is my all-time favourite. I currently buy it from Wool Warehouse. I think it's really good price and for what it is, and it does certainly make very quality stuff. In terms of the makeup of it, it is 50% acrylic, 50% nylon, so it is all man-made. However, it has got a really nice finish, and it certainly looks like a very premium finish, not too dissimilar to a cotton, but very, very soft and beautiful. Oh, so moving on, hooks. Now I did a little bit of a rambling about hooks in my recent crochet scrunchie video, because I tend to use my hook like this. I always use my hook in the pencil method. Now I know a lot of people use the knife method, and if you're a knife holder, oh my goodness, the hooks that you can use are amazing. The furls hooks with the nice lovely grip on it are amazing. However, this method, tend to really only want to use ones like this that are lightweight and don't have sort of anything big here and are nice. So if you do know of any other hooks that work beautifully for pencil method, please do let me know. But for the time being, although it looks like a sort of strange piece of toffee left at the bottom of the quality street, it is one of the best hooks, which is the Clover Soft Touch. They've got plenty of different sizes. I think when I first started I got the 4 and then eventually got the whole collection, and they are just so nice and lovely. Stitch markers, love them or hate them. I don't particularly use them a lot, but if you are doing a big project it is really helpful. If you don't have a stitch marker, and for many years I used one of these, and believe it or not, a trusty grip is one of the best things you can use. It slips on really easily, it's not going to catch, and it's going to work really well. However, I have just come across these, which I believe are also made by Clover. I think they are the Clover split ring markers, and they come in a handy little pack of 24. The thing I like about them is they're very easy to just slip on and off. They're not those ones that are sort of like a plastic paper clip where you have to pull the little bit back and forth, which I don't know if you've used them before, but they always seem to break. I'm not particularly a big fan of pretty little charms with those little lobster clasps, you know, like the ones that you use to close your bracelet up. They just feel like they're a little bit tricky to pop on, and if you're wanting to take them off and on quite quickly and regularly, you know, by the time I've clipped it on and crocheted around to clip it off again, and it's dangling and in my way. But these ones just seem to work really well. Alternatively, you can just use a contrasting piece of yarn. It's really up to you. These are a little bit like hair grips. You'll have a packet of 24, and then one day you'll say, where on earth are all of my my stitch markers? And they'll have gone to that little special place where hair grips and socks go, where nobody knows. And then lastly, the darning needle. Now I use just a random old darning needle that I have for ages, and surprisingly I kept it, and then eventually they end up down the side of the sofa, and I came across, I think it was recommended by somebody else, these are called the Colonial Needle Pebbles Knitters Needles. Very long name, and they're not very expensive. I think it was about £3 from Amazon. Links to everything are down below, and the thing I like about it is it's really pretty and portable. It's got a really nice variety of sizes. I mean, you're not going to have any trouble feeding some yarn through that. And because it's so accessible, I will find myself popping it straight back in, closing the lid, popping it in my basket, so that it isn't going down the side of the sofa, going to end up poking somebody in the derriere and cause a little bit of pain. So there you have it, some darning needles. I'm a huge fan of darning in my ends and tying them off, because a lot of the things I make, like I said, like the coaster, like the scrunchie, they're practical. They're going to get dirty. They're going to want to go in the washing machine. So as much as weaving ends in can be a burden, if you're like me and you like to secure your work, then you're going to get a lot of use out of these. The Clover Soft Touch hook. It's accompanied by the Clover. This is not sponsored by Clover. I just think that they're absolute leaders when it comes to the crochet community. And then finally back to some of the nicest yarn ever. I would definitely recommend trying this. You will fall in love with it, and you'll make so many beautiful things. So thank you ever so much for watching my all-time favourites. If you are interested in purchasing any of these, the links below are affiliate links. It doesn't cost you any more money to Amazon, but it does help me out and help me continue creating great content. I crochet nearly every day, but I upload and film videos that come out every Friday. So if you'd like to know when the next one's out, please do hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you ever so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if that's what you're into, and I'll speak to you soon. Happy hooking. Bye.